Why, hello there, Nessa. We're back again. Episode 6.
It's a different kind of podcast
of
now.
Positively Reviewed.
I got a question to begin with, as I always do. You get $1 million, Nessa.
Uh-huh.
$1 million.
Uh-huh.
But you have to live with 101 dogs.
Uh-huh.
What kind of dogs you getting, and are you taking the money?
Do I have to pay for the dogs? Or does someone else pay for them? I have to pay for them.
You have to pay for them. You got $1 million, you'll be fine.
You have $1 million, but that's less than 10 grand a dog. Purebreds cost like $5,000. You have to give dogs surgery.
You go for purebred?
I'm not saying I'd go for a purebred. I'm just saying dogs are not necessarily cheap, and then there's all of the vet bills for all of them, and then all of the food. Like, I would need more than $1 million just to have that many dogs. So no, I'm not taking the money.
Actually, fair enough. Okay, fine. Then how about if the dogs are paid for?
Okay, everything's paid for.
It might be kind of expensive.
And I
Which now has got me thinking. We'll get into it. You know what? Guess what? We might get into that during the facts section. There's the teaser. Now they're already stuck till at least the facts section.
Got it. Everyone has to stick around. Okay. What kind of dogs am I getting? Probably a mixture of hunting dogs. Like red bones. Red bones are one of my favorite dogs. If I'm somewhere cold, I really want a husky, but they're super high maintenance and needy, so maybe not so much. But hunting dogs are usually like smarter and well trained. And
look at this coon hound. He's adorable. I love him.
So I think I'd have to go for like the smarter dogs. Plus, if you just have a whole bunch of land, they can just go out and fend for themselves, and it's only like you have 10 dogs at a time because they're roaming. But no, I'm not taking the money.
You're still not taking the money.
I am not living with 101
dogs. So even though you
dogs.
choose the dog breed, no, you're not a fan?
You have to live somewhere that can hold 101 dogs.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not enough.
It's fine. It's
not enough.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. I'm also not taking the money, so that's why I'm not going to argue with you there. I don't know if that's a lot. It's a full-time. Well, hold on. It is a full-time job, basically, to take care of 101 dogs.
It's a full-time job to take care of, like, 4 dogs.
But you're also getting $1 million. $1 million. So you don't have to work.
You don't have to work for, like, 4 years, and then the house that you have, in order to maintain that many dogs, is going to have some hefty tax requirements on it. And you're going to have to work and take care of 101 dogs.
Gotcha. What if we put it down to only a year? You only have to live with 101 dogs for a year, and then they poof out of existence.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. We figured it out. We figured out where her cutoff line is.
Because then I could get...
Ness is only enjoys dogs for a year
101
of their life, and then hates
dogs.
Them.
I would get a nice house in the middle of nowhere, a lot of land. Go hang out there for a year. Nice little vacation. And then after that, I have like a fully paid off vacation home. Turn it into an Airbnb business. Be great. Got a plan.
Yeah, the story I'm going with is that you hate dogs after a year of living with them.
Got it.
So.
That seems fair.
Well, alrighty. As you can tell, we're talking about 101 dogs. So, if you know where we're going, we are going to be talking about Cruella today. I'm John, and over there is Nessa. No quips. I gave up on the quips. We don't have those anymore. They're awkward. I don't like them. So, but on this show, Positively Reviewed, we're here to discuss all about the positives and things that we enjoy about movies that maybe we didn't enjoy. You won't know we didn't enjoy them, though, because we won't say on this podcast. I can tell you, for this movie, Joker really enjoyed this movie. Joker really enjoyed this movie. Not ironically either.
That's the hint for everyone out there. If you're new to the podcast or you've been around and you just want to hear it all over again, Positively Reviewed podcast, Pause Reviewed Pod, POS Reviewed POD on social media. Accuracy beware, spoilers everywhere, but everything is the greatest piece of media ever. Nobody dislikes or hates anything. We love everything that we review, 100%. Totally promise that. And like John said, he loved this movie, and you can believe him on that because we are the Positively Reviewed podcast.
I really did. But top of the show, we do slight spoiler warning. We will get into a little bit. We'll say light spoilers. We won't say any major things, but a lot of times we're gonna have fact sections and stuff that talk about specific parts of the movie. So, slight spoiler warning.
Fair.
But today we've got Cruella. You wanna tell us why it's the greatest piece of media ever created on the face of the earth until next week?
Yeah, until next week. But for now it is the greatest. Well, it is a reimagination of, as we start talking about dogs, 101 Dalmatians. But taking a look at Cruella. So it was created by Walt Disney Studios based on Dodie Smith's 1956 101 Dalmatians. Now,
I didn't realize it was that old.
I
didn't realize that story was that old. 1956. That's a long time ago.
I'm still, and my mother's going to hate me for this, I thought everything then was in black and white. And 101 Dalmatians is in color, so I didn't think it was that old.
Right.
So that's mildly awkward. Sorry, parental generation, I suppose. So this Cruella, the modern day, fully in color one, was directed by Craig Gillespie, which did Mr. Woodcock and I, Tonya. And it was produced by Andrew Gunn, did Freaky Friday, a movie that I love, Bad Santa 2. It's also produced by Mark Platt, who did Legally Blonde, Scott Pilgrim, and Aladdin. I don't know if that's cartoon or live action Aladdin.
Oh, yeah, live action. That's live action.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I did all these. So a lot of these, I'll say, Tanya is going to come back up. That's that movie about the ice skater.
Yes,
yeah?
who was...
Yeah?
Beaten.
Or a TV show?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
It's a movie about an ice skater who got her knee wrecked by another jealous ice skater who wanted the better chance of getting the medal. Something along those lines. I haven't watched it, but I'm vaguely familiar with the story.
I didn't watch it either. I heard it was actually really good.
It sounded depressing.
But that's gonna come up.
So.
It's gonna come up again. I'll be honest, I went through a lot of these. I tried to pull out ones that I specifically noticed, but a lot of the people that you're gonna hear in this worked on a lot of things that I'd never heard before. So, but I pretty much just pulled out the ones I'm like, people might recognize these. I'm sure people recognize the other ones. I didn't though. Like Mark Platt did Legally Blonde and Scott Pilgrim. Woo! That's my favorite. All right, listen, Scott Pilgrim.
I recognize one of those.
Legit. I'm planning on getting a Scott Pilgrim tattoo.
Okay.
So that's just side note for Joker. He's a kind of a cool, he's a cool kid, so he's getting a tattoo, right? But yeah, he also did the Aladdin, the recent one that I didn't see either. I didn't see that one. I heard bad things about that one.
I tried to watch it. I made it about 45 seconds and decided not to continue. It was a choice that I made. I must have gotten busy or something. Actually, so for those who heard our last episode on Mr. Right, Aladdin was what I watched for 30 seconds, 45, whatever, before we decided we need to find a different movie and then watched Mr. Right. So,
so you were going to make me watch Aladdin last week.
I was not. No.
Was the plan.
No, that would not have happened.
That was the original plan. Okay.
That you no, we love movies here. Yep.
Hey, I don't mind seeing Will Smith is a weird blue-looking genie man thing. I don't know what that was, but it was a thing, and it happened. It exists out there on the interwebs now.
Yeah. Well, and in the future, maybe we will. But I think you did a good job picking movies that these people have done because I recognize several of them, which is unusual. The last producer in the list is Kristen Burr, who did Ice Princess, and I love that movie. Also Christopher Robin and Dora and the Lost City of Gold.
Some of those were good.
Yeah, some of those.
I love Christopher Robin. I'm gonna be honest. The way I felt about this movie or Cruella is, I think, it was the same way that I felt about Christopher Robin, where I went in there. I went in there on a date, I believe, with, one of Joker's many trysts out there. One of his old girlfriends out of the numerous that he's had. Christopher Robin, we went to that. And I wasn't expecting, it was just supposed to be a nice, fun date movie. My God, that movie blew me away. That was the most, it's such a feel-good movie.
Yeah.
It's so much nostalgia, so much, I was a big Winnie the Pooh fan back in the day, had all the books and all that stuff. And oh my God, by the way, that movie, Christopher Robin, came out the same year as Infinity War, I think. Was it Infinity War or Endgame? I think Infinity War. It was the same year as in Marvel's Infinity War. And my God, Christopher Robin, I actually think I liked Christopher Robin as more than Marvel.
What?
I went to the theater to see Christopher Robin more than Infinity War.
What?
Yeah. That one is for sure. I don't know if I liked it more. I don't know. You leave that up for yourself. But I went to the theater more time to see Christopher Robin than I did Infinity War.
Like the super Marvel fanboy you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how much I love that movie. It's so good.
Okay.
Every time you leave the theater, you just feel uplifted and happy and amazing.
So, I haven't seen it. I didn't think that was going to be the one that caused discussion.
So good. I mean, again, we now know after watching this movie, you're definitely an action fan. So I don't know if you like Christopher Robin as much, but it's a beautiful, delicious story and it's amazing. So I would highly recommend.
Yeah, feel good is good. Okay, so for Cruella,
before we continue, yes. I do note for John. Cut this out. Nessa, go talk to your stream at what Shaft just did.
Don't let him win! Don't let him win! What is wrong with you?
I feel you can't. That was so. I can't. I'm seeing it. I'm just like I can't just let that slide.
And you broke first.
Apparently I'm the one that broke. Okay. You know what, Joker, don't cut this out of the episode. We do record this live every week. If you guys want to watch this, I guess we could shout this out. If you want to watch the podcast live on Tuesdays every single week about 2:30 PST on Twitch, Joker and Nessa both stream this live, and one of Nessa's viewers just decided to gift how many subs?
Well, that
15,
one was
25?
50, and then he did 5 before that. He's waging war, and he distracts the co-host.
He's trying. Hey, you win. You won, Jeff. Congratulations.
No, I already messaged him. Doesn't count.
So, all right, we'll continue. Screenplay and story is by Dana Fox, Tony McNamara, Eileen Brosh McKenna. I specifically mentioned hers. Again, a lot of the other ones, I didn't recognize too many, but Eileen McKenna worked on Devil Wears Prada, Annie in 27 Dresses, which Devil Wears Prada is going to come up a few times in this. And then Kelly Marcel, who did 50 Shades of Grey, Venom, and Saving Mr. Banks, which Mr. Banks will actually come up later on as well. And Steve Aziz Light. All right. So from there, tell us, what kind of an experience have you had? We don't normally get this one because there's a section that we have talk about our past experience with the media, if any. And we normally don't have it because a lot of times the stuff we're watching, unless it's Marvel or something, we don't have that much past experience because they're usually one-off movies, TV shows, whatever it is. On the rare occasion, I guess you know what, that's a lie. I guess we did do that with Dota and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And All right, never mind. So we do it sometimes. But this time, Cruella does have previous media. Did you watch any of the old ones before you watched Cruella?
You mean 101 Dalmatians, like that. The movie. Yeah. I loved that movie. That was one of my favorites as a kid. I loved that movie.
Did you watch the animated or the live action?
There was a live action.
I guess we'll get into that in the facts section.
Just the animated. What sticks out in my mind is I loved the way they actually animated it, where everything was always teetering on the edge of destruction.
Right.
And all, like, the thing that is, like, blaring through my mind is the hay bale wheelbarrow scene where they're, like, in the...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that was my favorite. I love that. I watched that movie so much. I can't believe it's from 1956. That's wild to me. Like, I'm still...
Well, that's the book.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Got it,
so
that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I think I misread... the book was written back then. The film, I mean, it wasn't that much longer. It was 1961. So
yeah, that's
I actually
still too old.
didn't look that up. That's still really old. I mean, that's classic Disney.
Yeah.
You know? So, oh my God, that killed. That did $303 million in box office in 1961. Is that, I mean, I'm guessing that's adjusted for inflation, but my God, that's crazy. So, yeah. Not that much longer after it, but 1956, the book was written by Dottie Smith, and then it was created by Walt Disney in 1961. So
interesting
for the animated, which I mean, animated's classic. I feel everyone's watching, but there was, I think I remember watching at least the first one.
Mm-hmm.
There was a live action in 1996
wait.
called 101 Dalmatians.
When you say the first one, do you mean there were multiple live actions?
Then there was 102 Dalmatians.
No.
That came out in 2000.
Wait, maybe I have seen this. I'm getting repressed memories now. Oh no, I think I did go see this for a birthday party or something. Oh,
right.
That was buried
and
deep.
I think there's also a spin-off out there as well. I don't think I actually really wrote that down. Joker should have done his research. He didn't, but yep. There is 2 live action movies in 96 and 2000, which again, we'll talk a little bit about in the facts section.
Oh my goodness. Nope. Yeah, that's wow. Okay. That is yeah. Thanks for dredging that up. Got it.
All right, so we can move on to the facts section if you want. Or another new segment that we have a filler section that we discussed on, that if there's ever anything that we feel we don't have enough to talk about, we can make up stuff that you guys won't know that we're filling time, but we're doing filling time unless we decide to constantly mention that we're filling time, which is news for thought. A small little news story about something that's going on that we heard about in some movie, gaming, or whatever recently, which I don't know if you want to talk about it. I wrote mine down. If that intrigues you enough, I'll write mine down every week. I don't know if you have any, but I'll write mine down each week because I usually do the outline and then I send to Nessa. And if it piques your interest just enough, then I can give a brief little statement, because I'll tell you, for this episode, I got plenty to talk about, so we don't really need filler time.
That's
We've
up
been
to
doing
you.
plenty of that as is.
Yeah, I was gonna say we can. I mean, I am intrigued by the note that you wrote, but maybe we should just let people never know what it is and make them wonder what you wrote the whole episode, and at the end, maybe we'll say what it is.
Okay, sounds good to me. Works for me.
I am intrigued, but I haven't read the facts section. I always stop at that part, so I'm very curious about them.
Yeah, I mean, most of the outline, again, the outline's all pretty standard because we just riff on it as we go through, and the fact section is the only thing I spend all of 10 minutes on. It actually does take me a while. Some of these fact sections are pretty difficult to do. It's hard to find facts for some movies, but this one's not too bad. But yeah, I fill out a lot of stuff, and that's our biggest section, and that's the only one we fill out. And it's the only thing Nessa doesn't read, so we get her pure reaction. So hit us with it. Fact number one, our money fact.
Fact number one.
As we call it.
Okay. The budget was 100 to 200 million. The box office so far, not including Disney streaming, is 129.3 million. So
they already made kind of the money, broke even, I guess.
Depending on where in that range the budget landed.
Which I'm sure they've actually exceeded that with Disney streaming.
Yeah.
So with all the because you did you watch this in theaters or did you watch this on Disney Plus?
I bought it on Disney Plus.
So and that's that what $30?
So
I'm hoping you watched it with Turnup, yeah?
No, this was a solo watching experience.
This is just yourself. Okay. Yeah, I always talk about like people are like $30 is a lot, but the way I see it is, I mean, first off, you do have to pay for. I'm going to digress here, but you pay for the Disney streaming service. The way I see it is really the reason they have it, and they're making you pay $30. It's the equivalent of going into the theater in your own home. $30 seems like a lot, but if you're in a family of four, which Disney tends to be, $30 is way cheaper than paying for movie tickets.
And all the popcorn and the snacks and the time and the...
Well, okay, listen, that doesn't factor into the cost because you're gonna get popcorn. It's a absolute must. If you go to the theater and don't get popcorn...
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you go to the theater, you have to buy the popcorn, and that's expensive. But if you're at home, it's so much less.
It doesn't count.
No, but that's why...
It doesn't matter.
It totally counts.
See, I go to the theater for free. I do the A-list thing for AMC, so I pay $25 a month, so free, obviously, but I get to see 3 movies a week, and I get to see whatever I want. But I go to the theater, and I get popcorn every single time, which is every week. But I don't, it costs money, I guess, but it's part of the experience. You can't go and not get popcorn. That's just not right. That's messed up. So you can't factor in the cost of popcorn into the discussion.
But you can, because if you stay home and spend $30,
you're not getting popcorn.
You're not right. But if you went to the movie theater, you would buy popcorn. So that's what makes the 30 even more.
Again, buy is such a strong word.
Acquire. You'd acquire.
Have permission and the joy of enjoying popcorn.
Wait a second, I just read the next fact.
Yeah.
All right. So, Joker opened up the episode by saying you get $1 million and 101 dogs, and you have to pay for the dogs yourself.
Yeah, I know.
In his fact, he states that it costs almost $24,000 per dog for the life of a dog. And he only gave me a budget of $10,000 per dog. So.
Well, that's not. Hold on. That's not entirely true. I mean, you gotta keep reading it. So this fact is a two-parter. So yeah, what Nessa's saying is I'm changing it up. Usually we talk about how expensive it is to raise children in some part of the country. But since we're talking about dogs, we change it up. And with $129 million from the box office so far, you could raise about 5,408 dogs in England, which is where this movie is shot. So it costs about $23,800 per dog for the lifetime of a dog, which is about $1,660 a year. It's 16,900 pounds in English money. So, which is $500 less than cats. Surprisingly.
Probably because cats live so much longer.
Average lifetime cost of a cat is $24,200, and that's $17,000 a year. But yes, it is equated. I believe part of it is the lifetime of it. Cats tend to live around, they say 10 to 15 years, where dogs are 10 to 13 years, so it's automatically less. Which I don't want to shout myself out here, but every dog I've had has lived to about 18 years old. So I'm just saying,
you have the superior
kind of being the odds.
Yeah,
here.
superior dog, taking care of methods. Now in the U.S., which makes this even worse, dogs are way more expensive, costing $3,239 per year, which is about double what they cost in England, while cats only cost $634 a year. So cats are a quarter A third?
As expensive a year?
Yeah. A third is
Yeah,
expensive a year in the US.
A third, yeah.
And dogs are twice as expensive.
Does anyone who live in England, does anyone know why are cats so expensive in England? I don't understand. What are you feeding these cats? What do you do with these cats?
It doesn't even make sense to me. England is smaller and you have
crazy.
less space for animals, so cats should be more efficient. I don't know. Either way, Joker did not give me enough money in the question. Like, not even close.
No, yeah, I realized that. I said it. I was like, nah, you got to pay for it. And then I was like, wait, I don't think I've done the math on this yet. So, yeah, it's going to end up costing you more money.
So if you didn't want, how many dogs was it? If you didn't want 5,408 dogs in England, you could also fund the building of 2 missiles to be sent to Jupiter in 1958. Were the missiles being built in 1958 or were they sent in 1958? Or is it like inflation?
I don't really know.
Backwards?
I looked it up. I'll be honest. I don't know where this info came from necessarily. I went on Google. I typed in what can you buy for $129 million and some random thing came up that looked like it was literally called Rockets and Missiles and something, and I wasn't sure if it was an excerpt from an actual like government discussion, like court discussion, or some kind of actual whatever the word is that was from
transcript.
Transcript, that's the word, from 1957. I wasn't sure if that was actually or it was a book. Like I couldn't tell if this was nonfiction or fiction. First off,
got it.
So
got it. Solid fact.
And I didn't look that much into it because it just came up. And yeah, they were talking about how they didn't have enough money and how they wanted to have a plan of 129 millions, which was like 29 extra $1 million to build 2 rockets to send to Jupiter that was the entire fiscal year of 1958 is what it would have paid for, is $129 million to build these rockets.
Got it.
So they were being built in 1958.
Okay. All right. Well,
once again, don't know if that's real or not, though.
So you maybe get 2 rockets to go to Jupiter or 5,408 dogs. Okay. All right. Are you ready for a rapid fire?
Rapid fire, and this is most of it. There was a few. I have a crazy deep fact at the end. There's a lot of rapid fire facts, so I didn't have too deep of a fact for the final. But yes, okay. Rapid fire it off.
Glenn Close played the original live-action Cruella in the 1996 film. Executive producer on this one. So nice crossover there. The costume designer, Jenny Beavan, was hired after her work on Mad Max Fury Road. She made 277 costumes for the main cast. 47 were for Cruella. Oof.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
I wonder if Emma Stone got to take any of those home.
Where would she put them?
There was some gorgeous. It's Emma Stone. She's got a big wardrobe. Let's not joke for a second that she don't have a crazy big wardrobe.
We do have to discuss favorite outfit, but maybe we should leave that for the meaty meat. Because I did have
the meaty meat.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
The truck horn from the prison break scene is directly from the cartoon. This is Emma Thompson's 5th Disney film after Treasure Planet that no one remembers. Brave, Saving Mr. Banks, and Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, so that's where Saving Mr. Banks came from because who was it? One of the story writers was Kelly Marcel. She also worked on Saving Mr. Banks. But Treasure Planet is the one, you're right. No one remembers that. But wasn't that a good movie?
It was so good.
I don't remember.
It was good, wasn't it? It was like it didn't have music, right? Like it wasn't normal Disney at the time was all Hercules and like singing stuff. And so I think maybe Treasure Planet didn't do as well because people were expecting something that they didn't get.
They had all the flying boat ships and stuff, right? God, that was, if I remember, that was a really good movie. I think I watched that a lot as a kid.
I only watched it
But you're right. That's such a, it's the movie that everyone forgets that Disney made. I feel.
I've watched Sinbad.
I don't think we get
more,
anything from that.
And I don't think Sinbad is Disney, but it might be. I don't know.
And our good, by the way, to go back to our fact about
Emma Thompson.
The missiles, Shaft, the hero that Shaft is for distracting us once again. Apparently it was the Nova rockets that were sent to Jupiter. That was the ones being built for Jupiter in 1948, which was supposed to be 4 times the size of the Saturn V. It was never built. So take that as you will. But there you go. All
right. So it wasn't fiction. It was
apparently not.
All right. Good to know. Okay, so despite being an English character, Cruella de Vil has never been played by an English actress. Nicole...
Except for one spinoff, technically speaking, but we're not going to count
it. Okay, we don't need to dredge up more repressed memories. Nicole Kidman, Charlize Theron, Emma Thompson, Julianne Moore, and Demi Moore were all in the running to play the role of Baroness. Charlize Theron.
Which Emma Thompson is the one who ended up in that role for, we haven't actually talked about the actors who were playing what yet, but yeah. So that's some big names right there trying to all punch for this. So
I am glad it was not Nicole Kidman. That would have been a very different Baroness. Very breathy.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, tie my shoe for me. I'm so inept and I can't do anything, Batman. Would have been Nicole Kidman, so.
That's actually a really good Nicole Kidman. I hate that I enjoyed that.
Okay, and then our last rapid fire fact. Paul Walter Hauser drew inspiration from Bob Hoskins for his performance as Horace, mimicking Hoskins' speech and mannerisms as Smee in Steven Spielberg's Hook. Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah. Shout out to Bob Hoskins, man. That guy is classic. I mean, he's been gone for a while now, but yeah, I know who is it? I think Ryan Reynolds every year does a little tribute to him on his, I'm not sure, I'm guessing his birthday, I believe. So because I know Ryan Reynolds is a huge Bob Hoskins fan, took a lot of inspiration from that man. So yeah, shout out to him. That's awesome. So I always like hearing whenever he pops up. So, and I think. One kind of small fact, I think we might get to it later, but Paul Walter Hauser, who played as one of the henchmen, which was Horace, he actually got his start from Tonya.
Interesting.
Tanya. So that's why like we were talking about Craig Gillespie, I believe, is the director. He also directed that, so they actually worked together, which was Paul Walter's big break was that movie. So thought I'd give that little small fact there as well.
Nice. This is a nice little crossover. So many deep facts.
And here's the crazy deep facts. I'll hit up these ones. So the film seen on TV while Cruella was faking a hotel worker. She was impersonating a hotel worker to steal a bunch of stuff, is Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat, which the scene that it's showing has actress
Tallulah.
Okay, maybe I should have had you Tallulah. Yeah. There you go. Tallulah Bankhead, who is the real life inspiration for Cruella de Vil, who they even took the look and her personality quirks, including her laugh, was taken for the animated film. So that's who the character Cruella is actually based on, which I didn't actually know it was based on a real character or a real person.
I didn't know that either. I like this fact section.
So it's not based on the lifeboat. So it's not based on Alfred Hitchcock's Lifeboat. It's based on the actual actress who played in that. So, but anyways, so this is where we're talking the fact about those repressed memories that are the live actions. Yep. This Cruella is confirmed to be a prequel to the 1996 and 2000 101 and 102 Dalmatians, and is set up so they actually make certain decisions in the film to connect it to those films to make it canon. Basically, they wanted to make it all canon in this universe. So supposedly it's set up, which I'll be honest, I kind of hope they would just make more of like a Cruella 2 that maybe is, because the spoiler here is the story does end. This is a prequel. It's the origin story of Cruella, of how she kind of came to power in the fashion industry. And it is definitely the movie ends at a particular point in the story to have a continuation, which I don't know if you recognize. I mean, you saw Anita, right?
Yes, I know. I saw Anita, and I saw the and the names and the puppies.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I know, and who gets the other one? I connected all the names.
Right, Roger.
Yes.
Right, you saw
yes,
Roger.
So I connected all the names. I had all of that. Yeah.
There's a lot. So there's two characters in this. Anita's her closest friend in school, which it was, once again, that is canon. It was mentioned in, I think, the 1996's or the animated film. I'm not sure which one it was, but Anita and Cruella were friends in school. That was actually a small little line in that. So that's why they had those scenes in this movie, this flashback of when Cruella was younger. But Roger is the lawyer that in this one who for the Baroness.
Yes.
That she ends up firing in this movie. So apparently those two are the one they end up together. Yeah. And yeah, I'm guessing so it sounds like you saw that the mid-credit scene.
Oh,
it sounds like,
no,
yeah.
I did not.
No?
I don't think I did.
Okay, here's another spoiler for mid-credit scene. I actually didn't even know that there is a scene in the middle of the credits where Cruella gives Anita and Roger 3 Dalmatians.
Oh, that was the mid. Okay, yes, I did see that. Yes. Because I did.
I actually didn't see that. I didn't know there was.
The puppies also had like a little name on them, and it was the same names as in the cartoon that I remembered.
Yeah, is Pongo and Perdita, right? Or is that...
Yeah. I think Pongo is Roger's and Perdita's is Anita's.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she gives, puppy Dalmatians to them. So, I didn't actually know that. I didn't see that. So, all right, this one you'll enjoy, so you go ahead.
Okay.
That final fact.
Currently has an average score of 60 out of 100 and was given a grade of A on an F to A plus scale.
So it doesn't really seem connected, but apparently, much to Joker's sadness, this movie is getting a sick, mediocre rating.
Which is ridiculous.
But apparently it was... Because
it's the greatest movie of all time, so I don't understand how that could happen.
I agree. But it was given a grade of an A out of an A plus on a cinema score scale. So
maybe it's like logarithmic.
Sweet.
You know, like in order to go from A to A plus, it has to be 100 times better, right?
Sure, let's go with that one. That sounds right. Maybe it's just a good movie. Maybe that's what it is.
I mean, I think it's the greatest movie of all time, unlike some people. So
exactly.
Obviously.
All right, what's the time? Do we need to fill me up? Fill me up, baby. What do we got? Do we need to do any of that?
I mean, is
this where I talk about the news story?
You can. I'm telling you, I gotta talk about her dresses. So like we gotta.
Okay, let's just get into the meaty meat. We're looking fine on time. We're getting through it. So let's talk about. Hit us with the copy.
All right.
Classic copy.
Okay. Cruella is a 2021 American crime comedy film based on the character Cruella de Vil from Dodie Smith's 1956 novel, The 101 Dalmatians. The film is directed by Craig Gillespie, with a screenplay by Dana Fox and Tony McNamara, from a story by Aline Brosh McKenna, Kelly Marcel, and Steve Zissou. It is the third live-action adaptation in the 101 Dalmatians franchise and serves as a prequel. Emma Stone stars as the title character, with Emma Thompson, Joel Fry, Paul Walter Hauser, Emily Beecham, Kirby Howell-Baptiste, and Mark Strong in supporting roles. Set in London during the punk rock movement of the 1970s, the film revolves around Estella Miller, an aspiring fashion designer, as she explores the path that will lead her to become a notorious up-and-coming fashion designer known as Cruella de Vil.
Once again, I feel this is one of those copies that really do not describe the movie at all.
Not even a little bit.
It doesn't explain the story of what the movie ends up being at all. It's a heist movie. I think it's been compared, the way I've heard it compare and the way that I'm using to compare. If you don't know what this movie, the selling point is, imagine Devil Wears Prada meets Oceans.
Yeah.
Like Ocean's 13, but I guess this is like Ocean's 3 or 4 or 6, depending if you count the dogs.
Oh, you have to
and
count the dogs.
Okay, then 6, because if that's the case, then you also have to count the what's the guy's name who makes all the outfits for her? Artie.
Yes.
Artie, the character Artie. Yeah, I guess you have to count him. So you got Cruella, the 2 henchmen, Artie, who helps with the costumes, and then the 2 dogs, which they are. This movie has nothing leading in. This movie has nothing to do with 101 Dalmatians.
Not at all.
It has nothing to do with dogs. There are dogs in it. There's a lot of dogs in it. They are fun characters.
There are dogs that Cruella loves in it.
Yes.
That's
she actually likes dogs.
A lot, including the Dalmatians.
Yeah. She ends up liking the Dalmatians. Yeah, she gets a dog as a kid and ends up having it the whole time. Good old CGI dogs.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some they it wasn't actually bad. Some I think they probably use a combo of real dogs and CGI. Mm-hmm. I know the very beginning they used a CGI dog for that first one, the puppy. The way it moved was kind of unnatural at times. It was definitely noticeable, but the later on ones you couldn't tell all that. They did a good job.
The one-eyed dog
why I think they
was real most of the time. Yeah, Wink was real most of the time. Yeah. The Dalmatians were almost never real.
Yeah. So I think there was definitely it was pretty good. It was pretty good CGI. I was actually impressed with it. Again, it was noticeable at some points, but a lot of times you couldn't tell it. But if you're going into this expecting this to follow dogs, nothing to do with dogs. No. It's all about this is the Cruella show. And it's a complete reimagining. The beginning of it is completely front loaded with character driven narration and just story and just building of the atmosphere of 1970s London, which is a great choice because we'll get into the fashion. I know Nessa wants to talk about the fashion.
But I also want to talk about actually building up henchman backstory because that's cool because normally henchmen,
Horace and Jasper,
they're very, very flat characters. And it was...
Oh, I love these two.
Yeah, the way that they were actually built, because you meet them when they're children, and Jasper... Right, it's Jasper's in charge. Right, it's not Horace that's in
initially.
Charge. Yeah, but like Jasper's in charge.
Jasper is Joel Fry.
And Horace is just kind of like the bumbling idiot who rolls along and is like, oh, that's the angle I like. But I like that there was actually personality to them and that there was understanding behind who they were and what they're doing, because normally you watch and you're like, why would they even bother? You know, like, why would they be helping this person? And you get...
Yeah, they especially in the anime, in all of them, Cruella treats the henchmen pretty terribly, pretty poorly, which there is a little bit on this, they have, but at the same time, they build a backstory where it is. They're a family. At the end of it is... Sorry, I just... Man, I went into this movie, me and my buddy were joking about the Dalmatians killing Cruella's parents, because that's why she hates the Dalmatians, right? In the anime, is they killed her parents. Man, we went into this joking about that, but wow, when that scene came up,
just like, what?
That we burst out laughing. That was so ridiculous, but at the same time, like, it worked. It was just very like, all right, yeah, okay, I guess this is where we're going with this. They literally assassin Dalmatians. That's how I was phrased. Assassin Dalmatians. Wow. That was a moment. But yeah, so she ends up being an orphan and she ends up running to London, and that's where she meets Jasper and Horace as a kid. And yeah, follows them back to their place and they end up growing up together. Running just on the streets. They're orphans on the streets, living on their own, and they end up grifting and thieving and pickpocketing people for a living. And they end up being very successful at it. Cruella has a knack for fashion from the beginning, and so she ends up making a bunch of costumes that they use to get into high-end places to steal rich people stuff, pretty much.
And they never...
And it ends up going really well. I thought it was great. But yeah, they built a great rapport between Cruella and the henchmen of where they were. They had the reason why, even when Cruella became Cruella, Estella became Cruella. That's right, because Cruella's not Cruella to begin with. It's Estella.
Yeah.
And they attempt to do a split personality thing, which I didn't like to begin with. I warmed up to it at the end. Or later on, as the show went on, I actually it started making more sense and it felt a little more natural. I think at the very beginning, it was a really unnatural thing where Disney was trying to say that she had split personality disorder, but the way it was executed is it really just felt unnatural that Emma Stone was just changing her mentality and she was all of a sudden Cruella. And it didn't really work for me to begin with, but I ended up warming up to it by the end of the movie. So, but yeah, she ends up treating them pretty poorly. But they stick around because they're a family.
Yep.
They play the family card.
And they play
it worked. It was good.
Her mom died. Do what she says. Just kind of deal with it. Go along with it, kind of thing. And it's a little odd that they never that they're always there for her. You expect them to walk out at some point. You're still sort of questioning that. But, they're loyal. Jasper is very loyal, and Horace continually seems to think there's an angle. No matter what.
Yeah, the angle.
Oh, gosh.
What's the angle?
Okay, but so this...
Oh, and I watched this. So I watched this twice. I watched this with a buddy, and I actually got convinced my parents to go see this as well. My parents loved Wink so much. The rat scene where he became the rat dog was so funny.
That was I enjoyed Wink a lot. I thought that was a really fun addition, and I don't know, it was so counterintuitive how much they included dogs on the good side of things. It just wasn't what you would have expected.
Yeah, they made Cruella actually like dogs.
Yeah,
so
no, they made Estella like dogs.
Well, Cruella did too. Okay, maybe not so much. Yeah, to Cruella, everything was how useful are they kind of thing. So, yeah, fair enough.
So the Dalmatians ended up useful. I don't know if she liked them.
But then we also had the other main character in this was Emma Thompson, which she was great as the Baroness. She was a great Baroness. I mean, she was the Devil Wears Prada character.
She was straight up Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm blanking on her name. I just watched this movie recently because it's a wonderful movie. But I was watching it and I was like, oh, so we're watching The Devil Wears Prada. Got it.
Priestley.
Yes,
Miranda Priestley is the character's name from Devil Wears Prada. So yeah, Meryl Streep playing that. She was straight out. Yeah. It was directly from Devil Wears Prada.
But it was brilliant. I mean, that character, Meryl Streep's character, Devil Wears Prada, was perfectly executed. And then the Baroness with those just disinterested, oh, you're boring now. All of the mannerisms. There's just these, these little, tiny little sighs and head tilts and just this lazy wrist flick. Oh, you're not even worth the attention of me holding my hand at tension. It's just this, that was very well done.
And they did a good job showing how powerful and smart she was, though. She as much as she came off as just a flamboyant, narcissistic, powerful woman, she had the skills and to back it up. She did the research to honestly attack people at times.
Oh my gosh, that scene.
She had no qualms about some stuff.
This scene where there's this masterful scene where there are some businessmen from a department store that stocks her clothing that were trying to start a conversation saying that she needed to change her designs because they weren't selling or weren't selling as well as they would like. And it was about men were going to try and tell her what to do with her business. And this is a movie based in the 70s with a powerful woman. So there was a little bit of a dynamic there. And she just cuts them off. And it was like, well, I have a few moments of feedback I'd like to give. And just
let me tell you your feedback.
Yeah, she just goes through like that they're embezzling, that their foot traffic is down, that they're doing one thing wrong after another, and all of this. And then at the end, she's like, "So your feedback?" And they just kind of like run away.
Yeah, they just walk out. They're like, "Nope, you win this one. It sounds good." So, yeah, they did a great job with her character. They did a great job with a lot of the characters in this. So, it's all right. Let's get in 1970s. Yeah. You mentioned great time period to actually have this. It's very much during the punk rock movement of the time, and I think you want to get into the design, the fashion of it, because that was the second part of this. As I said, is the Devil Wears Prada slowly morphed into a Ocean's heist movie. It turned into a heist movie, a smart heist movie where there was a mini heist inside where they're trying to steal a necklace, but the whole Ocean's idea of where they're trying to outsmart each other rather than just steal things, and it was who was thinking who was playing the game of chess better, who was thinking farther ahead than the other is what it became. I'm a sucker for heist movies, and this one was a really beautifully executed one, and it used a lot of fashion to do it, and it was really cool.
So what essentially happens in the movie is Cruella wants to upstage the Baroness and make her pay. So every time the Baroness has some big fashion reveal event, whatever, Cruella shows up in some outlandishly wild design and kind of takes over everything. And so I want to ask, like, what was the one that you remember? Like, what was your favorite?
Are we talking about just the outfits that Cruella used?
Well, like anything, like what you saw. Because so there was the bead dress. There were definitely beads. Those were beads. There was when she pulled up on the motorcycle and she had the future with the graphic display. And
leather jackets and stuff.
Yeah, there was
leather outfit.
There was the one where she covered the car with the skirt, and then I don't remember what she rolled out on this, like the words that was like
that.
It was like the past or trash or something. I mean, it wasn't trash because there was the trash dress.
I was gonna say the trash dress.
Yeah.
I love the use of that. Using again, it was 1970s was a great pick again for the tone and the style of it all because it was during the punk rock movement. So there was a lot of experimental designs coming out, and so things like the trash dress was like I think a great embodiment of that, and a great embodiment of where her character came from as well. So it was great. Where it was just newspaper, I believe it was all just there was the one that was made out of newspaper, and then it followed by it was just a bunch of garbage bags, right?
Well, so the trash dress, this one was my favorite. I loved this one. So a dump truck backs up to whatever the Baroness has going on, and all of this fabric and trash bags fall out, like just, like 50, 100, what looks like piles of different like silk and satin and trash all mixed together. And Cruella pops up out of it after it all tumbles out and hops on the back of the dumpster. And she's got the headlines that say that the Baroness is the past and Cruella is the future, like sewn into her dress and her headpiece and everything. And as the garbage truck pulls away, there's this huge train of like hundreds of dresses or just like balls of fabric or whatever just stretched out as she drives.
Yeah, getting dragged by. Yeah. It was awesome. It was great.
There's
a lot of them. And I mean, I think potentially the other one that I liked is the very last one they showed was the punk rock concert outfit that she had going on there. I also enjoyed a lot. So,
which if you wanted, but
then the Baroness had a lot of typical, I guess what was peak fashion at the time was just very typical dresses that stood out and whatnot. I think my favorite from her was, I think the one she wore during the party, which was the weird, with the she basically had the cone, was that what? I'm thinking, whatever the one she had basically a cone on where her head I don't know what's the best way to describe it, but
party
basically
when Estella was a child, or the black and white party that Cruella crashed in the red dress?
the black and white
Got
party.
it. So that one was like, it was almost like a heart. She had this like back piece that was like a heart, I think.
Was that one? Okay.
I think so. So what was...
Maybe I'm thinking of a different one.
What was weird about the Baroness's fashion...
There's a lot of costumes in this. 277 costumes.
What was really weird about her fashion and her designs and everything was it was very Marie Antoinette. Everything that she did, which I'm assuming, I don't know what 70s... I do not think 70s fashion was Marie Antoinette. I do not think it was pompadour wigs and giant, especially the party when Estella's a child, because that is straight Marie Antoinette fashion.
Right.
And so I am wondering if there is a commentary element there to the excess and height of power that you think you cannot be toppled from. And that is why they went for Marie Antoinette vibes for the Baroness, would be my guess.
I totally agree. I mean, I think a lot of the Baroness's character was based around that Maria Antoinette. I think it was very much the same vibe. I think they went with the look and the same just concept of how crazy she was, right? Narcissistic. She was a little bit psycho, and how powerful she was. I think absolutely they were trying to have some parallels there.
It was cool though. Okay. I don't want to jump us too far ahead, but we did talk about how this is a prequel and you wanted a Cruella 2, or you wanted the next.
Yeah.
Do we think that maybe they say it's a prequel because they want to remake those? Or Disney has done a lot of things that don't necessarily, right? Like WandaVision won't necessarily have a season 2.
No, yeah, they already said there won't be.
Yeah, so this could be a one-off. Now, Maleficent got another movie, so Cruella could.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's how I feel about this. I thought I love this movie. I said it. I've been telling people about this. I've been recommending people to watch this movie. Apparently, with that 60 rating, not everyone feels the same way.
I mean, how dare they?
I genuinely enjoyed it, and I genuinely believe that this movie is going to end up being a top 3 movie of the year for me. I really, really enjoyed Cruella, and I think it sits in that same ballgame. I mean, Disney has done some of these remakes and live actions and remade characters, or they've done one origin story of a villain to try and make the villain not seem so villainous, which was Maleficent. Mm-hmm. And so I think if you liked Maleficent, I think you'll enjoy this movie. I think this one was honestly way better than Maleficent. And I liked Maleficent. I didn't think it was I enjoyed that movie as well. So this one did great. And I would be a total fan if they did a second one of this, because I genuinely really love this movie. I really liked it. I thought they did, the pacing and everything was just so good. They did such a great job with it.
It would be really interesting for them, because the 101 Dalmatians side has been covered. It would be very interesting for them to do 101 Dalmatians from Cruella's side. Like, what is she trying to accomplish? Right. What are her motivations? What's the deeper backstory there? And then she obviously gets outsmarted. So why does that happen?
I don't know. That's exactly how. I wonder if that's how. It's why I wouldn't mind a second one, but I don't know if they could make a second one out of this, because I don't know who the villain would be and how they make Cruella still seem like the hero in all this. Because in the 1996 one, the concept is Cruella ends up having an addiction to fur coats. That's what they go with, is that she has an addiction to fur coats and she's decided the Dalmatian fur is what she wants to use for it. So I don't think that really works with how they set this character up. And I think if they just go with, okay, now Anita and Roger are the one outsmarting Cruella, or they decide to go the route of let's now make the dogs talk, I don't think any of it would work. I don't think any of that would actually work with this version of this. So I don't know where they could honestly go from this.
So I don't think they absolved Cruella of being a villain at all. because
No, I mean, they definitely set her up with an evil, kind of mean-spirited woman, but again, they did a lot of stuff, like she faked killing the Dalmatians in this Cruella, right? Is she made them think that she did, but she didn't actually do it because there's no... She doesn't... She's not a fan of killing dogs in this version, at least. In the other versions, not so much, but...
That's what I'm saying is...
Yeah, I think it's part of the reason why it won't work.
I don't know if that jump would be too hard to execute, though. Because she didn't kill them. She got very close to killing them. Because when the Baroness finds her, that's exactly what she says she's going to do. Now, of course, the dogs end up
That's true.
being on her side when they're useful later on. But I really think they didn't redeem her at all. All they did was say, you're the new Baroness. Because she did exactly
Pretty much
what the Baroness did.
yeah. Oh no, they just turned her into that. It's exactly it. I think it again. It's one of the well-written parts of the show, in my opinion. Is that's a major spoiler, so I won't say too much. But the character direction of Cruella was literally becoming the Baroness. Was the concept? Is she's trying to take this woman down out of a sense of revenge, not because she thinks that she's a horrible person. And deserves to be taken down a peg. It was solely by the fact solely for revenge, and she didn't care what kind of person she became because of it. So
I think they could use that as a premise and remake 101 Dalmatians from Cruella's point of view, where she loses. I think you could do that. It would be different. It would be very different because the main character never loses. But if you want to start making villain movies, you have to accept. I mean, in this movie, she kind of lost. Jasper hates her. She lost. She lost all of her friendships. She traded them.
I thought she redeemed it a little bit there. She started winning their trust back at least a little bit at the end of the movie. I think you're right. I don't know if they redeem her apology. She did have apologies and stuff, but I don't know how Jasper honestly felt, if they were real or not.
I don't know.
I
think it would be interesting for them to pursue a villain movie with a real villain, and with the way that she narrates it, and you have the narration, you could extend that into the next one, and at the narration at the end, like, you can still have her be like, this time around, things didn't go so well. And it would work.
Right.
And then you'd get your next Cruella movie.
Yeah, I'm a fan for it. My biggest thing, I think, and this goes for, it's why I personally think people should support this movie. They should go see this movie. They should pay this movie, because I thought it was really good. I loved it. The world doesn't necessarily agree, but that being said, I want to see Disney take more of these risks. Mm-hmm. I think they did a phenomenal job with this. They did a good job with Maleficent. I think they've proven that they can write original stories for classic characters. Mm-hmm. And I want to see Disney do more of this. They do plenty with Marvel and Star Wars, and they've been doing all these live action remakes from Lion King and all that have not been so great recently. But this, I think, is a standout where they remade something but rewrote the story, and they killed it. They did a phenomenal job. And so I honestly want this to be successful so that Disney decides, hey, maybe this is an option, and they take more of these kind of risks writing these characters. Because I think it's really interesting. We mentioned Hook earlier. Mm-hmm. You know, that was something that I was like, hey, maybe they do another remake of Hook. I think that might be a lot of fun. Oh, that'd
be so good.
Something
Hook was awesome. So, Hook was great.
Which, I'll skip forward a little bit. We'll do the end, but that is going to be my last kind of closing question for you. If Disney made another one of these where they took a villain and created a story to make you feel like they're not so villainous, what other Disney character would you want to see remade in this style?
Someone to be seen as not so villainous. I've got to like scroll through my villains. The first thing that pops into my head is Cinderella. And I'm like, do we see it from this evil stepmother's side of things? But I don't know. I feel like she's actually really well covered in the 8,000 versions of Cinderella. And then the next one that pops in is Beauty and the Beast. But like the Beast is kind of half a villain who gets redeemed already anyway. And it's just sort of Gaston. And he's not, I don't think there's the depth there to write from Gaston's point of view.
And they already remade Beauty and the Beast. It was
no. The auto-tuning was really the challenge for me with that one. Oh my goodness, chat knows what's up. All right, this is the beauty of filming these live.
Mine.
Chat knows what's up.
Mine.
Ursula.
Yep, that's exactly the one I would
Little
have gone
Mermaid.
with. I think
Is my favorite Disney. Ursula is one of my favorite characters. The Poor Unfortunate Souls is like one of the best songs ever created. And when I have a side tangent for this.
Yeah, go for it. I do enough of those myself, so it's good to hear you do them.
My mother's best friend, when I was growing up, had kind of like a gravelly voice and short, really blonde hair. And I was kind of scared of her. And I always told my mom she reminded me of Ursula. And my mom was like, don't tell her that. But yeah, that was, gosh, man. Yeah, Ursula would be awesome. I would love to know how she became the Sea Witch and why Poseidon knows her and what the previous deals are. And she's got like hundreds and hundreds of mer people's souls chilling in the bottom of her cave, and the eels, Flotsam and Jetsam. Oh my goodness, yes. Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah, I think Ursula is a great. I think she's the next ideal. I honestly think if Disney does another one of these, she's the pick. It's gonna be her.
Underwater.
I could see Captain Hook again, but once again, they kind of already have done him.
Underwater live action.
So I don't know if they want to
though.
do another one. So
How do you do? Don't we have a live action Little Mermaid on its way?
there is a live action Little Mermaid coming out. Yes. So they picked. I can't remember what her name is, who's playing Ariel, but they have chosen the actors and stuff for it. Mostly, and I don't know if they're filming it yet. I know they're planning on doing that, but I think that is the next live action we're getting. So we're getting something out of that. I still think they should make an Ursula. They make an Ursula like Maleficent, like Cruella, and I think it would be really interesting and really fun. And yeah, live action underwater stuff is a little. Aquaman did it okay at times, I guess. So. We'll have to see. But they do okay with those. So
yeah.
Ursula's my that was gonna be the one I had. I've been trying to run through the list of other Disney villains, and I don't know if I have any other that I really.
Hades could be fun.
What's the guy's name from?
But like, I don't know if Hades could be cool before Hercules is born. You could have like some kind of sibling rivalry.
That's just Lucifer. We already have that. That's Lucifer.
That's valid.
Which we'll do that. They have had the latest as part of Lucifer, so it won't be next week. But I'll tell you, we will be covering Lucifer on this podcast because me and Nessa are giant fans of that show.
It's a great show.
We will be talking about that. But yeah, that's just Lucifer. Well, I was thinking, there's a lot of parallels from Ursula to Hades, right? I think Ursula is supposed to be, the way that she's written, is the devil of the sea, was the concept. So I bet that's how they pitched her. And so I think it would be absolutely fun to see from her perspective. Yeah, that is a prequel to just a little before she meets Ariel and what happens and how she becomes, like you said, the Queen of the Lost Souls, I guess, or the damned souls.
Yes. Well, she damns them, so it's really stacking the deck. Right. But whatever works.
You make a deal with the devil, right? That's the whole idea. That is who Jafar as well. That's the guy from Aladdin, right?
That's Aladdin.
That's who I was gonna say is the only one I could think of is Jafar from Aladdin. Could be an interesting one as well. So
I see that.
Those are my picks. All right. We're closing out here. Just, I guess, how you feeling? What's your rating for Cruella at the end of this all? How you feeling about it? What's your rating? Again, if you want to give your honest rating, I'll allow it.
No, this is the greatest piece of media ever. So it's getting 5,408 dogs, obviously.
5,408 dogs is the rating for this, and I am giving it 2 missiles to Jupiter.
That never got
that
built.
Are actually made. No. See, in this rating, they were built.
Got it.
That's how good my rating is.
Build the actual missiles for this movie.
But there you go. Cruella, it's the greatest piece of media ever. And glad you enjoyed it as much as I did, Nessa.
So if you also enjoyed the positively reviewed podcast, which, is tied for the greatest piece of media ever. Go ahead, check out our social media, Pause Reviewed Pod, POS Reviewed POD, Instagram, Twitter. You're also going to be able to find this on YouTube. Maybe you're watching there. If you're watching there, you can find this on podcast platforms. Whatever platform you're on, leaving those 12 out of 5 stars, a nice review, all those things helps other people find our totally unbiased and spoiler-free review show for them to enjoy.
It really is the best way for this podcast to get discovered, so we do appreciate. Yeah, rating it and commenting help tremendously. Even if you just comment hello, it helps. It really does. The more that happens, it gets thrown into all those funky little algorithms. And I cannot believe we didn't mention this at the top of the show. Mm-hmm. I'm so mad at us. We have a logo now.
Oh, yeah, we have a logo now.
We didn't talk about it, and this is going to be at the end, so you're going to listen to all this, and we have a logo now. It's done. It's finished. It's gorgeous. It's awesome. It turns out Joker should just listen to Nessa from now on. This is like the 3rd or 4th time that whenever Nessa says something, John fights back, and he's like,
You picked
you know
the
what?
options,
Let's go with this.
though. You gave me 4 options. You went and found them.
Yeah.
You did the work.
Yeah, I find a bunch of options, and then I give them to Nessa, and then she kind of gives her first pick, and then I give my first pick, and then we meet a lot of times somewhere in the middle. Yeah, the first time we got the logo made was not good. And then I decided to go what Nessa's first choice was, and they knocked it out of the park. And this is the second time that she's right. So she's always right. I'm just going to defer to her from now on from all decisions. So we got a new logo. So the podcast probably looks different. It's no longer random pictures of us. And I really like it too. It's really pretty.
And if you go to Joker's Twitch channel, he made a bunch of merch for it. So if you think it's look cool and you want like a mouse pad or a hat or a t-shirt to rep it,
I'll put the link, if you're listening to this, I'll put the link in the description of the podcast from now on. There is a bunch of other stuff because it's just through my streaming merchandise store, but ignore that. Mm-hmm. Don't worry. Joker's an honest man. He tries to be, at least. I tried it. Why am I talking in third person?
You've been doing it the entire
that? I don't know if it's a good thing.
And
I've been doing this whole episode, and I hate it. I hate that I'm doing it. They know they can tell by my voice, hopefully. We don't have the same voice. All right, I'll stop talking to the third person. I sound really pretentious doing it. But it's on my merch store. But don't worry. Nessa is, but if you want to support the show, it's another great way. If you want to wear some awesome, positively reviewed merchandise, we have our logo and stuff on a bunch of different. You can get a sticker, you can get some shirts, you can get a mug. There's a lot of really fun stuff, and there's more merchandise and things on the way for that. So check that out. It's on Joker's
Twitch.tv/ProAceJoker. And then check his stream banners, and you're going to find the link to his merch store.
And it'll be in the description of this as well. So, but there you go. That's it. I guess the tease. We got to tease the next episode.
We actually decided it ahead of time.
Hey-o. Here we go. You ready?
Ready?
Yeah, we decided to do this one a little differently, where we actually figured out, I don't know, I kind of am a fan of just giving them no information, being like, here's the tease, and it telling them nothing. Do we want to do my news story?
We could do your news
You
story.
wanna hear my news story now?
We did say we'd make
All
them
right,
wait.
here you go. So I made them wait all the way to the end, so I might as well do this one. We don't have to do this every week, but my little news story that I had was no Batman sexy time for Harley Quinn. That was how I phrased it in that.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty much a small thing. I want to get your thoughts on it. Was season 3, there's a TV show on HBO Max, anime TV show called Harley Quinn. It's a phenomenal show. That I haven't watched yet, but it's gotten a lot of really good reviews. It's been highly rated, highly recommended by a lot of people. But they're working on season 3, or it's out. I'm not really sure which one, but they cut out a scene. They've now officially cut out a scene where Batman apparently goes down on Catwoman. And the way that it's phrased is the reasoning behind it is, because heroes don't do that. That was their reasoning. That was their line that they said for the reasoning of why they took that scene out of season 3. So, sadly, we're not going to see any Batman sexy time. And, I mean, I'm upset by this, but I want to see Bruce Wayne's naked body, as always.
I mean, how could they
but yeah, I don't know how you felt about
the
that.
ways of Green Arrow? I mean, it's the entire show is just Oliver without a shirt doing the bar thing.
Oh, yeah. It is true. I mean, I'm attracted to that too. And everyone in that show was attracted to it as well.
It's a whole thing.
It's the only reason Felicity ended up with him, of course. But yeah, I don't know how you feeling about that. I mean, I guess it is. How do you feel about them cutting out like sex scenes and stuff in animated shows? I mean, I don't know what this show is rated, so I don't know, but I guess if they took it out for like rating purposes, understandable. But I feel the reasoning, because heroes don't do that, is a little.
There's two sides to that, right? It depends on what they mean by heroes don't do that. If they mean male heroes don't do that.
That was exactly
I would like to point out that
what.
there's a lot of implications about what women do regularly.
Right? Yep. That's a little bit of a wasn't phrased
That's
well.
a little bit of a disconnect. In general, if it's that heroes do not typically have overt sex scenes, I would actually agree with that. In the worlds that we have built in hero shows and canonical DC Marvel hero shows, Batman is a playboy. But they don't typically show a lot of it. It's very, like, camera cuts and implications, and it's nothing aggressively overt. From what I remember, it's been a while since I've watched Christopher Nolan Batman movies, so I don't quite remember what they did there, but I'm pretty sure it is less explicit of what is happening.
Right.
So in general, I could see, and if you look at the Marvel side of things, there's like nothing. Then the Marvel
they don't do anything.
Nothing.
The closest thing we got was WandaVision.
Yeah.
Where they put the beds together. They put the beds together for WandaVision. That was the closest that we've seen so far.
So like I can kind of see that.
Well, I guess technically we've seen Tony Stark wake up in bed with women.
Yes.
I guess we got a bit of that, but none of that was romantic.
Yeah. And so it's like
the show is R-rated. Yeah. Well, there you go. And apparently this isn't the first time Batman had sexy time in the show.
I was going to say, if it was written in there, I imagine that it has to be like
weird, more
of the show. So like that would have had to have been a design choice way before season 3. And when you make those choices, they're pretty like, it's not going to make it through the writer's room, right? Like that's decided way ahead of time what the tone of the show is going to be. So I have a feeling that it's more of the first thing that I said, which is less of a I'll allow it thing.
Yeah. No, I'm feeling the same way. So, all right, we'll definitely do the news earlier. It feels weird to have a news segment at the end of the podcast. Maybe we should just keep doing it because it's so random and makes no sense. So, I guess the second news story I want to shout out, Jamil. I think that's how you say her name, from The Good Place. She also just got cast literally today, right before we started this. I saw it pop up. She just got cast as the arch nemesis,
Titania. Yeah,
Titania.
Joker has a hard time.
Arch nemesis for
with this
She-Hulk.
name.
There is a She-Hulk TV show in the works, and apparently she just got cast as the villain of it. So that's a shout out to that. More Marvel stuff. So, all right, the tease for the next episode. It's already going too long. E3. We're doing an E3 showcase. We're going to be talking about the Xbox. We are both Xbox fans. Me more so than Nessa is, but there's a lot of stuff. There's some Diablo things in there. There's Halo, which is my big thing there. So we're going to be doing a E3 kind of breakdown. They also have an extended Xbox showcase in a few days. So we're going to be talking about that. That's what we're doing. A little different. Not so much going to be a podcast and, movie or TV show, or we're going to go back to video games, but a little different. So we'll see how it is.
Cool.
But anyways, hope you guys all enjoyed hanging out with us, talking with us. Let us know what you thought about Cruella, if you see it. And tell us if you got any ideas of things that you might think are great for the show, please let us know. We got a list going. We got stuff coming down the pipeline. So we might also have a guest star next week. But anyways, though, you guys have a good rest of your week.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Bye all.